we're going to talk about how to fix a mistake in watercolor. I painted these orchids last week. You can see this one on the left is the right proportions, and you can see this one on the right. The bottom part of the flower is almost half of the flower distance, where it should only be about a third. So today we're going to see if we can actually take that and bring it up. So we're just going to bring it up about a half an inch or so. And I thought this would be just a really good opportunity for us to talk about how to fix mistakes in watercolor, because it is slightly different, it is a little bit trickier, but it can be done. The first thing to know about fixing mistakes in watercolor is what sort of paper that you have. So that will determine to quite a large extent how you can fix it, or you know, what you can do. Some papers are easier to lift on, other papers absorb the color and hold it a little bit more. So we'll look at, and then you can see there, that's Arches paper, it's creamer. This one is a very smooth paper. I don't remember what it's called, but it's one of my favorites as well. And we'll probably talk a little bit this week as well about some of my favorite papers, but I'll just show you here the difference. Like, this is a Saunders Waterford. This is my favorite paper. It's sort of the creme de la creme of watercolor paper, and because of the way they process it, it is a little bit harder to lift. You can see there the Fabriano paper in the sketchbook that we're using is very smooth paper, and it also is quite difficult to lift on, but you can see from what we do today that it is doable. One of the easiest places to start with watercolor is this Canson XL paper from Walmart, and also it lifts really easily as well. I'm just going to show you the three textures. We've got the Saunders Waterford on the left, the Walmart, the Canson XL in the middle, and the Fabriano Smooth on the right there. And so we're just going to jump straight into lifting this. So we just get a wet paintbrush, and we're just wetting the portion of the painting that we're trying to lift. So you can see the process here. I am wetting it with my paintbrush, then I'm trying to damp it off with a cloth or a paper towel. And the success of this also depends on the pigment that you're trying to lift. So these are fairly easy to lift, these pigments, and that is where you look at your pigments, whether it's staining or non-staining. So a lot of the phthalo pigments are very staining, they're very hard to lift. I think a lot of the pigments that I use are generally easier to lift, they're more earth tones. But having said that, red is a very difficult colour to lift no matter which red you use. And in this painting that we did the other week, the side of the balloon there where I'm showing you, that was fully red. So you can see where it was coming down from the top. There was a stripe right down from there was a red stripe right down to the balloon basket, and then it just was the wrong shape once I'd painted everything, so I wanted to cover it up and I couldn't lift it at all. The red was just too intense, but I mixed the blue with the white, and I couldn't even just cover it up with the white. It was just not disappearing, and I just kept working the painting, working shadows into the area. And you know, if I hadn't have pointed it out, you may not have even been able to notice. So there are definitely always ways around, you know, a mistake that you've created. So you can see here, once we've lifted the portion that we're trying to lift, we simply repaint in the, you know, with the correct proportions or the way we want to. And so I'll just kind of let you watch this bit. and you know, by the end of it, so there's one thing about this that I still am not really keen on, and that is the center of the flower there. I wish it was a little bit lower, but that's not something I can change because I just can't lift that. So what I'm just working on is the part of the proportion that I can change, and it does look quite effective at the end. So there you go, guys. That's just a couple of ways you can fix a mistake in watercolor. I think the painting could do with just one more glaze over the bottom, just to try and make that stand out a bit more, but for time I just can't do it today. But I think you kind of get where this is going, and I think it looks a lot better. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.